In 2007, Techland, the developers of Call of Juarez, had an idea for a new survival horror game. They showcased at E3 with an initial trailer and sparked enough interest to get a publisher on board. The publisher, Deep Silver, would then go on to absolutely blanket ban the developers from making any mention of the game. This meant complete radio silence from Techland for the foreseeable future. Many thought to believe that the game had been canned after many years of silence, but others held their breath. After 4 years, on the 16th of February 2011, Techland and Deep Silver would release one of the greatest video game announcement trailers of all time. This is Dead Island. The trailer was created by Axis Productions, and more specifically, Axis Animations, a now defunct animation team. Deep Silver gave the team lots of freedom to create their own story for the trailer, and its goal was to create an emotional pull for viewers. This is in stark contrast to an original statement from Techland, saying that the game showcased at E3 was originally more about killing zombies and not meant to be an emotional experience. The trailer did not include any actual gameplay and was meant more as an art piece, showing the horror of zombies in conjunction with the normal people on the island. Even without gameplay or any real hints to the story, many viewers became heavily invested and excited for the game's release. The short-form trailer and relatable characters hooked these soon-to-be players to the grim world of Dead Island. The brutal nature of the trailer has its drawbacks, however. Many critics and gamers found the visceral imagery of a dead child in an announcement trailer quite repulsive. Ben Parfit from MCV, who reviewed the trailer, said he is uncomfortable watching a graphic depiction of the horrific final moments of the life of a young girl. He found that the trailer hit too close to home, since he has a daughter of his own. Conversely, a writer from The Escapist, Robert Rath, said this: while other cinematic commercials tell you to buy a game because it makes you feel like a badass, Deep Silver hooks customers by making them empathize with the characters. It's a game pitch purely on pathos. Both articles are incredible and I highly encourage you to read through them. I think Robert Rath especially hits home after saying Deep Silver accomplished what many films have: connect with the audience through their material rather than in spite of it. There are so few cases of games invoking this kind of realism. We had several hit zombie titles before this, but none that challenged viewers and players to consider who these victims are. These games were primarily faceless hordes of gory fodder, there to make you feel like a badass and look cool, like Robert said. But I think Dead Island had a goal to give you a more grounded view of these once alive and thriving human beings. These are people, families, friends, loved ones. An interview from MCV and Stuart Aiken, Axis' co-founder, gave us a closer view into the story of the trailer and Dead Island. At the time, the main and central ingredients were that the story should feature normal people, not superheroes. Though Axis had full creative control of the trailer, Deep Silver had a hand in some aspects, suggesting the idea for the window and in turn the window breaking, as they wanted to show the island itself to give the trailer a strong setting. Believe it or not, the initial scripts for the trailer were even more gory. They understood that this is a violent, mature game, but knew that going too far could have consequences with the public view. The more gory elements were purposely inflicted on the zombies in the trailer, and less so on the currently surviving human characters, as a means to not shock viewers too dramatically. But it is still an incredibly emotional and horrific short story. Even for those turned away by the gore, there was no denying that the accompanying music was absolutely stunning. The composer, Giles Lamb, and yes, it is pronounced Giles, I checked, had a goal of creating a trailer that captured viewers in a unique way. Stuart Aiken's interview with MCV also brought this up. The idea for the music treatment went pretty much hand in hand with the balletic gore idea of reverse slow motion. Something somber, melancholy, and elegant that would counterpoint what was actually happening and give it a different emotional resonance than if we had played it as a more straightforward action sequence. Try saying that 3 times fast. It's clear that Axis and Giles created something perfect for Deep Silver and their new game. All the parties involved were thrilled at the final product and the reception. The great animation work, composition, story, music, relatable themes, all culminated in what I would say is the most alluring, emotional, and memorable video game trailer of all time. In May of 2011, a few months after the initial trailer, there was also a 2-part video series. Dead Island Part 1, Tragedy at Paradise, and Dead Island Part 2, Dead Island Begins. These trailers served as a way to give fans more real information and look into what Dead Island really is. The first trailer, Tragedy at Paradise, is very similar in feeling to the initial trailer. It features more melancholy music, showcasing the beautiful views of the island of Banoi, post-outbreak. The trailer interweaves imagery of destruction, desolation, and the zombie inhabitants with photos and memories of innocent people who stayed there to relax. We see photos of families and friends swimming and surfing, sunbathing, all contrasted by these torn up zombies, burning buildings, and mayhem. It is slightly easier to digest than the initial trailer, and would be much more fitting seen on TV or as an ad online. Both trailers even feature a brief excerpt from Lamb's incredible award-winning song. The second trailer, released in June, features much more gameplay footage of things you would see in-game, including the introduction cutscene. We are shown interactions with zombies, weapons, and story characters. This trailer caters much more to gamers who are already excited to play the game and get a treat of real gameplay-esque footage. We even get a little jump scare at the end of the second trailer. I had this playing on my second monitor while I was writing this, and this scared the absolute hell out of me, because I don't know why it's here, and why that noise is there, because that doesn't happen in-game. Whatever. The IGN uploads of these videos are still up today, so you can go through the comments and see the absolute joy in people's reactions. The release day couldn't come soon enough. Dead Island released in the US on the 6th of December 2011. The Metacritic reviews from actual critics ended up around 80 on PC and 71 for the consoles. Most of the points off from reviewers were unfortunately due to performance issues. IGN knocked off a point or two for bugs and glitches, while Edge Magazine gave it a whopping 3 out of 10 for many gameplay and technical problems. Quote, I think. By the following year, Dead Island sold 5 million copies and left quite the impact on zombie-loving fans. Suffice to say, it was a hit. Its success drove forward the creation of Dead Island Riptide, a sort of half-sequel extending the story of the first game. There were some spin-offs like Escape Dead Island and Dead Island Epidemic, a MOBA-style looter shooter, which I have an embarrassing amount of playtime in. We even got a full sequel, which I did not really enjoy, but that's fine. We were given a DE, Definitive Edition, of Dead Island and Riptide in 2016 as a 10th anniversary surprise, as well as an incredible redux of Giles' song. Bearing in mind 10th anniversary means from the initial E3 trailer, because the game hasn't actually been out for 10 years at that time, because it was 2016 and 2007 was the initial trailer at E3. Not really an anniversary. Doesn't matter. After all this, there's one thing that I've missed. One thing that I think will bring us back around to the point of this video. One thing that you've probably seen quite a bit by now, especially in this video. In March of 2011, before the game's release and right after the initial trailer, ESRB told Deep Silver to change the game's logo, stating it was not suitable for public release. Something very similar happened with another zombie title you may have heard of, Left 4 Dead 2, where the previous box art had 2 missing fingers and a missing thumb. This was deliberate by Valve, obviously, since this left 2 fingers held up, like the title suggests. But ESRB told them to re-add some of those fingers, stating it was too visceral, and Valve was forced to add 2 fingers back. Still no thumb though. I will avoid dogging on ESRB too much, but their choice to force Deep Silver into a different logo gives the branding a way different feel. The initial logo for Dead Island is incredibly poignant and human, even more so with Giles' song. The tropical tree and the beach for the setting, the birds flying away like everything is normal, unbothered by the infection, and a man who decided it was easier to take his own life than become a monster on the island. That is Dead Island. A morbid story of regular, innocent people surrounded by those they love, exposed to an apocalypse at the one place they hope to relax. The new box art current to this day with the Definitive Edition, that's not the right word, the Definitive Edition, is somewhat similar. It just simply features a walker standing where the man once was. It's still effective and represents the Iron Island, but a lot of the humanity is taken away. I understand why ESRB took this route, less so for Left 4 Dead 2. With marketing and ads and in-store box art, you aren't able to cater only to the mature audience. It's very likely people or children who are particularly susceptible to this kind of imagery might see it. The idea represented in the older logo is incredibly deep, emotional, morbid, and frankly terrifying. But that is Dead Island. That is the dead child, the helpless father, the missing families, the people who had to kill those they once knew. More on that in a minute. I understand why it had to be this way, especially in 2011, where gaming culture isn't this behemoth it is today. But it's still a shame to see.
I told you to stay away. Why wouldn't you listen to me? What the hell is wrong with this place?
Dead Island is not known for its enthralling story. Many gamers and reviewers play the game, guns blazing, exploring and looting to their heart's content. And I can't deny, that's a damn fun way to enjoy Dead Island. But for those who chose to take their time and immerse themselves, you'll find many places that Dead Island dances with the idea of what this whole video essay is about. Many quests and tangent in the game involve helping the helpless. Since we, the 4 protagonists, are immune, we essentially have to be the eyes and ears for all those stranded and hiding. If you listen to the murmurs and ramblings from the survivors around you, all of them are shocked and scared. They lost people they love, they need medication to live, they are always in constant fear of death. Every minute not hiding or barricaded away is a gamble to the not immune. Hell, even to the immune. Right near where the game begins, there's a chance you happen upon Ted. Even our controlled characters react upon finding him, frightened by the sight.
My God.
He sits, defeated in a pool of blood, surrounded by loved ones. He mutters and shakes his head, apologizing to his family. He had to kill them. His wife, his dad, his brother. They changed. They were no longer his family. They became monsters. And to save himself, he did what he had to. You can talk to Ted, but you can't break him out of his trance. He will never be able to forget what happened on this island for as long as he lives. Further inland, we meet Earl and Jen, a father-daughter family holed up in a barricaded workshop. We ask their help in repairing and fortifying a vehicle so we can safely move survivors from one place to another. Earl reveals that he was bitten before we met him, and he wants to help us with what little time he has left. Once the vehicle is completed and we have the means of safe travel, Earl demands that we take Jin with us, so that his daughter can be protected. We oblige despite our warnings, and Jin follows us on our journeys. Throughout the main story, Jin goes through hell and back. After wanting to deliver supplies to known killers and criminals, she's captured, beaten, and tortured. We rescue her, cutting down every bastard in our way, and bring her back to safety. But before we can proceed, she asks us for one favor, to take her back to her father's workshop. Once there, Jin takes a moment to herself and tells her now infected father, one last time, that she loves him.
I love you, Dad.
We would never have made it this far without Jin and Earl's help. And even after being bitten and succumbing to the infection, he was still Jin's father, but more monster than man. The man who helped us, despite the danger, and saved countless lives with his work. After fleeing the resort, we make contact and assist survivors in the Church of Moresby. We find a man here, heartbroken, leaning over his knees and mourning. We introduce ourselves to Mugambe, who has a large favor to ask.
When the madness started, I was able to evacuate here, but my wife and daughter, they didn't make it. Someone told me they saw them out there, half dead, half alive. God knows what they are, but they are no longer my family. Please, this is not easy, but I would like you to lay them to rest, to stop their suffering, yeah? They deserve peace, not this. Will you do it?
Yeah.
Thank you. Here is a photo of them. Please, make it quick.
As soon as the chaos flooded the streets of Moresby, Mugambe fled and found safety, but his wife and daughter were not as fortunate, and were left behind. Mugambe accepts the fact that they are no longer his family. The image of his family, yes, but half dead, half alive, monsters. He hands us a photo of his wife and daughter, and asks that we lay them to rest and end their suffering. We venture to Mugambe's house, and past many other infected residents, we find his family. They are fully infected, and all we can do is as Mugambe asks. But there's something special about this interaction. When you find the family, they are labeled in-game, not as walkers or infected, but as Mugambe's wife and Mugambe's daughter. Just like Ted and Jin, we confront the fact that these were just regular people. These hordes we were fighting, they were families, friends, locals, children even. It reminds you of the trailers we saw. These people vacationed here, lived here, worked here, and they'll die here too. So we press on, because death is their only escape.